All right, we are ready, so why don't we meet our players, ladies and gentlemen. On the left-hand side of your screen, that is going to be J-Trash from the Unplayable Podcast. That's literally what he told me he wanted me to call him. I was like, okay, that's what I'm going to call him.
I know. I was wondering if
So
you were
there it
going to
is.
say
Oh,
Jeremiah.
Yep.
No, that's J-Trash.
Yep.
Put me in, coach.
And then I got to fix his leader in base, so that's going to be wrong for him. And on the right-hand side of your screen, I've got to obviously go make a camera adjustment there. That's Frank. Frank was on stream at the very end of Swiss yesterday as well, and he's back again on the table. I'll go fix that camera here in just a moment.
Yeah, funny thing about Frank was about a week and a half ago, he he left all the Discords, he left all his Patreons. He's like, I'm out of the game. I'm too busy at work. I'm not getting distracted by Star Wars Unlimited.
Let's fix this.
And then he shows up in Minnesota. He goes 7-1-1 with the team deck for Bothan Network, the Vader Yellow, which we're about to see.
Hey, Lincoln. What?
And he's here against Jay from Unplayable. 1 second, sorry.
All right, let's try that one more time. There we go. There's the match.
35 minutes. Just talking about this matchup.
Oh, they just started the timer.
I didn't, so you got the advantage.
Well, this is going to be fun. Whatever happens, hey, I'm already just making day 2.
Sorry, something was going on with my brother. I was trying to see what it was.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go fix this camera while we're taking a moment here. These guys are just about ready, and I'm going to let the judges know to turn them loose whenever they want.
Even if I lose out here, I don't care.
Yesterday, I got my first match loss was in round 1 because I didn't have 50 cards in my deck.
No.
What happened with that?
But I only lost game 1 technically, but then I only got a chance to play one game and lost, so I was like, okay, that was dumb. I got a DQ loss in game 1 because I only had 48 cards.
That stinks.
Sponsored.
But that's my only.
All right, sorry, I had to check him. I had to go Big Brother for a moment. Sorry, stream. Yeah, so Jay and I actually test a lot with this Han Green. I worked on Han Green a lot with Alex Blandon, and so Jay's been talking to me. We've gotten some games over the last couple weeks. Pretty much chatting every day, just like talking about Han lines, doing some testing. So we've definitely run this matchup. I think he's going to be looking to find his Fast Falcon or his ambush ship. One thing that's interesting is right before the tournament started, as Jay said to me, he's been playing his haulers really aggressively, and it's been working out. And then Frank also said to me before this round started that he's been loving haulers in his deck because people kill them thinking that they're going to have that hauler for the rest of the game. But that Vader deck is actually skewed to get that hauler back.
It's interesting to me because we didn't see him when we had him on stream yesterday at the end of Swiss. We did not see him play a hauler. I guess he just didn't come up in all 3 games. When you say skewed to get it back, you mean
a lot of bounce, you see Waylay in his hand right now.
Yes,
Geonosis Patrol Fighter. He can steal it with the Sanctioner Shuttle.
Right.
So I don't know if that's good value for your Sanctioner Shuttle, but it's certainly when your opponent overworks to get that hauler,
right,
and then you just take it away from him. That's kind of where the value comes in. It's just how much can you overtax someone. Now, the thing about Jay's deck, if Jay is Jay's start is going to be that he's looking for is going to be Falcon into Han Pilot, so he can kill that hauler without taking it back and have his own hauler and be way ahead. Now, all I mean to say is that hauler is a huge liability on both sides because we're going to be working almost predominantly in the space lane at the beginning of this game.
Do you think that either player, as we get to game 2, at some point will be sideboarding? Do you think they cut him out? Do you think they leave him in and take the risk?
If I were Frank, I'd probably cut him. But I don't know their list, and I don't know
That's true. We don't.
Their tactic.
Don't know the list yet.
So I just think that the Han Pilot on a Falcon is just going to kill. Like I mentioned, that the hauler becomes value for you when your opponent overworks to kill it. They spend resources to kill this big thing in space, but Jay isn't going to have to work that hard when he just plays a Han Pilot.
There, Frank. I did you a solid. I gave you a shout-out. There it is. He prominently placed that blonde Sabine pin right there on the table.
Oh,
I have one of those as well. His lovely wife gave me one in Mobile. I use it because it's with the little end here designed to manage screens. It's really good for running the Stream Deck.
Yeah, I love pens. I'm a big pen guy.
Are you one of those guys that spends hundreds of dollars on cross pens and stuff?
No, but I'm an English teacher. I like my pens. I was a writer growing up, So I said in my rider that I need to have Energel, and Wes hooked me up with fine tip Energel.
I'm
exactly
a
what
0.5 guy. I cannot go like I'm usually a pilot 0.5 guy, but I just anything that's 0.5. I'm
the one
good.
thing I do have is the metal Energel.
Oh,
so,
hey, look.
we're already
There's a game.
We already missed the action. So yeah, we did see. So one of the things I said we're looking for is the Fast Falcon out of Jay, and obviously he's here. Took out Frank's turn 1 play.
Yeah,
of
looks like a
Mining
Republic
Guild
Y-Wing.
I think it's a Mining Guild tie.
Oh, okay.
And then Frank comes back with the Eager Escort Fighter. Yeah.
2 Falcons is a great start for you.
Yeah.
This is what you want.
And if they can hear Frank, he said 2 Falcons is a great start.
They can hear what we can hear.
Cool.
Correct.
And I'm actually surprised that Jay blew up Han here. Maybe he thinks Han's a little bit of a liability as a pilot because he knows that there's Waylay in Frank's deck. So yeah, it looks like Jay is not interested in suiting up his Falcon and getting blown out by a Waylay. I would imagine if he had a Chewbacca, he might. But that Sanctioner shuttle can blow out Chewbacca, so I think he's just thinking pilots are a liability at the moment.
You know, it's interesting because we were having this chat a little bit yesterday as well because we saw some units over the course of the day get really, really heavy with upgrades. It was, I think, Ryan Warner's game on stream with Sabine. He had an Alliance X-Wing that I think at one point had 7 upgrades on it.
That's wild.
Yeah, it was 4 of them were experience tokens, and then he had a perilous position, I think an R2 pilot and something else, and it was like, this is insane. I was told upgrades were dead, ladies and gentlemen.
So I'm going to expect Jay to actually start moving to the ground. One of the things that people get caught up in how they lose to Vader is when they spend way too much time trying
to fight him.
Yeah. So, Victor Leader is a guy that you really need to take off the board. But because Jay has a Falcon, he's not going to have too much of a problem doing that if he needs to. But here I expect Jay to do possibly a resupply or a Kira or Blue Leader here. Yeah, he's going to Blue Leader. And I'm not sure what the best move here is with this Blue Leader. Yeah, so I don't love this play because he's just going to get eaten by the TIE Fighter.
No, I should do
Just
that.
for consistency, I guess.
I haven't seen Jay's hand. Frank's doing a really good job of showing us his hand, which is nice.
Frank is one of the most enjoyable people to watch on camera because he's having done this, he knows how to be camera friendly.
Yeah.
But I have signage on the table that warns them if you keep your hand over the mat, it will appear on camera at some point. So if you don't want us to know, hold it back off the edge.
Ah, okay.
Not that everybody reads my signage, because I also tell them they're on a live mic and half the time they forget.
So it looks like Frank wanted to play the Victor 2 pilot here with his extra 1 resource, but he has to take this trade. He has to trade a TIE Fighter into Blue Leader. He can't leave a 3 attack on the board.
Yeah, see how he plays his hand out there?
Yeah. And obviously he had the option to play the Clone Combat Squadron this turn and make it a 4/4, but I think it seemed like he wanted to slow roll it a little, make Jay commit to a lane before he decided to play it. But I think Frank is he really wanted to attack for 3 here, is my guess.
Okay.
All right, so he is going to do it.
Going to play Victor Wingman 2. Get
so
another
now
token.
the only play he has is to go face, but now Blue Leader gets to free trade back into that. So I think we'll see open attack Blue Leader into the 3/3, and then Falcon.
Isn't that only a hit for 2? Why is there 3 damage there?
Which one?
So
he's got the pilot on it. And
it's Victor Leader. My apologies. Yes, I'm an idiot.
Yeah. So this is like a weird little chess game where
can you
Frank
keep up?
took the 3 extra damage there, but he gave an insanely good trade. Well, that was a great draw for Frank.
Yes.
I mean, if you could draw a barrage every turn from this point out, you're probably pretty happy. The other great thing about this Vader deck is you really don't ever need to go to 7 resources. And we see that he actually put down the Clone Combat Squadron, which not completely surprised by. So I guess, with that attack, we're just gonna see everyone kind of cleared out here.
Yeah, that's the easy trade there with the TIE Fighter, and he's going to prevent getting rid of Victor prevents Vader's text from firing this round.
Yeah. So Frank, Frank has to fire off this no good to me dead here to not fall too far behind, but he has no board now, you know? Like, he's just good at 2-2, and he's not making any other token this turn. He put down his 4-4 bomb, or his 4-cost bomb,
Mm-hmm.
and he doesn't have anything to barrage with, and he doesn't have a ship to put Vader on. And you really don't want to put Vader to the ground in this matchup because he just gets eaten by Han. Either Big Han, obviously, is like a huge problem for Vader, but then also just Han with a blaster is a great trade into Vader.
I haven't played a lot of Vader, but I have played a lot of Wedge. And I've found that there are very specific lines in matchups where you find yourself, rather than deploying as a pilot, deploying to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Frank do that yesterday, again in round 9, in the matchup he was in. Against Han here, you're basically saying, you obviously want the value in space, but the ground arena available to you, but probably against Han, a losing proposition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Han actually thrives on the ground. One of Han's biggest strengths is just playing to space the early game and then pivoting to ground. So Jay tried to slow roll his actions. Frank took that Vader action, so you can still exhaust your leader for no effect a lot of the time, and Vader is one of those leaders that can do it. Jay does a good job of playing his 6 resources. He plays a hauler, he plays the blaster, but he's not going to get to 7 resources, and that's the exact amount of resources that a Han deck wants. So depending on what's in Jay's hand, this could end up being a rough turn for him, but if he's got the big Millennium Falcon, I think he's just fine.
Yeah, it doesn't attack.
Yeah, you're right.
There's still no way for Frank to attack with a piloted Vader this turn.
No, he's drawn into a fighter, but it's not a particularly good one.
No, but it is a 1-cost, right? Is that
It
the
is.
1-cost?
It's a cheap. It's the first order
okay,
TIE
so
fighter.
he is going to be able to play the first order. Jay's going to want to hold back a ship to kill it, so he can't put Vader out and then barrage off the Vader. But
right.
That is the perfect hand for Frank to be able to pull off this barrage for 7. Actually, be 8, so it would clear Han and
The problem Frank's going to run into is he doesn't have enough actions. I think he's passing now. He doesn't have a lot of actions to take before that.
7?
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Oh, that's 4.
Yeah, Jay needs to not get greedy on the damage here. He needs to hold this Falcon back.
Now, Frank can also – you can use Vader's game text for no effect. He could just tap and exhaust him as an
Yeah, he
action
did
for
that
no –
last turn, actually.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's going to play the TIE fighter, assuming that
So
not going to want to trade there.
Put Chewbacca.
Okay.
Should hit for 6.
So now it's a 7 attack. It will kill
Mm-hmm.
Vader if he flips.
It will indeed.
But it'll also die back. Oh, so he does go ground here.
Going ground. I think he knows he's really got to get this barrage off, and so he's going to get it's a slightly less big barrage, but it certainly isn't a bad barrage.
No, not at all. And it's going to kill Chewbacca, and then he can use the Vader to trade into Han if he wants. But that still leaves him with a lot of damage to go.
Stream, we're backing up. He's letting me back up. I should have just done this and let you see what you're going to do with that.
Okay, so now he's going to exhaust Vader for no effect.
So
and
we have
then
the gentlemanly take back
Yes.
in day 2.
As soon as I flipped away, I didn't.
Look at that gentlemanly handshake.
I know, right? Look at that.
You'll love to see it.
So 14.
Okay, so Jeremiah's going to go face here with the Falcon.
Wrong way.
Okay, so that now gives Frank the opportunity
I haven't had enough coffee this morning.
to Vader out into space if he wants.
So
Which
14 to 7
he would. I wouldn't his shoes because now, yeah, exactly.
in this match.
Now he can have a larger barrage. He can barrage for 9.
Oh, confiscate Vader.
Oh,
And his own card is confiscated, so he baited it out.
Oh, he baited him
That's
into it.
And now we see why the gentlemanly take back.
Frank's like, yeah, we're done here.
Yeah, but they Northside or Geo, they did have information. Jay attacked, so information changed.
that was so bad on my part.
Yeah, the gentlemanly. I love it. Like, yes, I'm a perfect gentleman. Take your playback. And yep, I've got the answer right here. So, I mean, and that we couldn't see what Jay was cooking up because we didn't see his hand on camera. But yeah, I mean that's why whenever I do these casts, I just let people cook. I just try and see what they're up to. and hope it works out. So that was a great game one.
Was. All right, guys, give us about 60 seconds. I got a quick ad to push, and we'll be right back.
Maybe he'll flip the space.
What's up, everyone? Raptor here with a quick reminder about upcoming Star Wars Unlimited tournament coverage right here on the channel. The first Saturday in June, that's Saturday, June 7th, we'll be providing live coverage of the Planetary Qualifier at Dragon's Lair here in Houston, Texas. We're targeting an 11 a.m. or 1600 UTC start that day. A link to the YouTube event can be found in the video description or by following the link in the QR code on your screen right now. 1 week later, on Saturday, June 14th, we'll be up in Austin, Texas with live coverage of the Planetary Qualifier at the Dragon's Lair location up there. That will also be an 11 a.m. or 1600 UTC start. If you're watching on YouTube, again, the link to the scheduled stream can be found in the video description or by following the QR code you're looking at on your screen at this exact moment. With the Galactic Championships inching ever closer, I hope you will join us for more live coverage of competitive Star Wars Unlimited events.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, as we sit here for Game 2 prep. Both gentlemen taking a look at their sideboard. Again, just as a reminder, we do not show sideboards on stream before the top cut because that's not information the player should have, and we don't want somebody to accidentally find out something that they shouldn't. So we don't look. I mean, I would say I don't look at that info in advance. Actually, you don't have back-end access today for the melee stuff. We had that for our casters yesterday because they were remote.
Yeah, that's all good. I was just going to call up the Melee to have like the other matches to talk about.
Oh, absolutely.
That are going on in day one, so
Absolutely.
I'm going to get Melee up. But one thing that I talked to Frank about right before this match was tie daggers. Now, wait, am I not supposed to talk about their lists at all?
You're not supposed to talk about their lists.
Okay.
That's correct.
I talked to Frank about hypothetical tie daggers being somewhere in the list.
We did not see those out of him yesterday. We did see them out of other Vader players.
Yeah.
So it's a card you expect to probably run into there somewhere.
So I ran Vader this weekend, and one of the reasons why I felt very confident moving to Vader from Han Green was because I felt tie daggers really fixed all the matchups where people were ambushing me.
Yes.
And playing the fast Falcon or hitting me with Falcons quickly.
Right.
Because I could just play the 2/2, damage them out, and have a big ship back on the board. Or
Right.
a ship that
A
triggers
ship.
Vader on the board, not
Right.
a big ship. I felt really comfortable into the meta if I was going to be playing against all these decks that ambushed me and killed my ships early. I didn't get ambushed a single time yesterday. I didn't play a single Han. So all of the things that I prepared for didn't come to fruition in my matchup, but I did talk to Frank about how in the Han Green and Sabine matchups, I really love Dagger. And I would bet that in games 2 and 3, we might see a Dagger.
You think so, huh? You think so?
If that's
Okay.
as little as I can say,
So,
that is
well,
as little
I'll be
as I
honest.
can
As
say.
long as you don't talk about, you don't say things like, "Oh, I know he's got it in there." But having conversations with people, I was talking to Frank, and we said this.
Yeah, well, I try and be
Nothing
I'm
wrong
like-
with that at all.
I'm trying to be Tony Romo, you know?
Exactly.
I went and talked to all the players
Exactly
about their
right.
matchups, and look at this. The very matchup I talked to both of these guys about before the round, they get
Exactly.
paired, and now
See?
we're watching them.
See, exactly.
All right, I'm still trying
Now,
to get
see,
the other
Frank
matchups.
is being camera friendly over here. You and I can see the view where he's clearly showing us what he's doing with his sideboard. He does this for the camera.
Oh, what a guy.
Yeah, he does this for the camera.
Is he bringing in the daggers? Yeah. there they are.
It looks like we're definitely. I'm not sure what's going in and what's going out, but they're
It looks
definitely
like
in that
he's
pile.
putting in all those cards, yeah.
Yes, it looks like that's what's going in.
Bazines are great for stripping a bomb out of a 7-drop card out of Han's hand. The daggers, as I said, are good. And then basically the way I structured my sideboard was I have 3 Lurking TIE Phantoms in the main. Any matchup against space where I was cutting them, I put in 2 Jump Masters and a TIE Dagger, a 3rd TIE Dagger. And that was just to make basically knowing that the Phantoms weren't going to live against anything and like putting in things that would otherwise live or help me.
Yeah.
And then the other tech that you'll see from Frank there that he laid out for us, thankfully, were swoop downs. And
Yes.
he's using those swoop downs to have another answer to the Han flip.
Right.
One of the things I talked to Jay about in preparation for this event is just that people are not ready for the Han flip. And when they're not ready for the Han flip, they almost always lose.
Right.
If you we saw Frank stop it, but didn't have a board to kind of back up.
To do anything with it was just a stall, basically.
Right. It was just a stall. He had no board. He had like nothing on board to barrage with or whatever. But with swoop down, it kind of lets you focus on building that board and not having to hold the 2 resource no good to me dead up. And then if he can get a hauler or he can put that Victor leader on Victor 2 rather on something with 3 attack. He can swoop down and kill. So he needs something with 4 in space so he can swoop down for 6.
Right.
And and another thing they have. This is in the main deck. I don't think we saw it last game, but maybe you saw it on stream yesterday. But they're playing P38.
Yes, we did see Frank playing P38 yesterday,
So
which is
that
also a nice compliment with the dagger.
Right.
Or the swoop down.
and
Oh,
swoop
because
down.
because
that
point.
will do the extra damage to kill Han.
Yes, it
but
will.
yeah, also really works well with dagger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Swoop
I
down,
like the P38.
Swoop down adds 1 or 2 when you attack the ground unit.
It adds 2.
It adds 2.
So
yeah, you
3
can just
plus
trade it.
2
3
plus
plus 2 because
the ping
he's
one.
gonna.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. That's a great trade.
All right, I finally have the matches up.
So you can
Talking
go
and
today. I think you
searching.
Oh, here I'm cheating.
That's all right.
I
got
put this. I have this on your screen over here as well.
it. Okay, cool.
Either one of
Well,
them
we walk around with a personal computer. And everything, so we're good. I just want to kind of check out what other people, who else got paired against each
You
other.
get paired up helps your tiebreakers.
I'm 16-5 too.
Oh, that
and
won't
that's
matter.
it.
It's just the match. It's just the opponent
Yeah.
win percentage. Unfortunately, I wish they used game. I don't know why they didn't use game. I don't know why they don't use game.
Oh, Maddie's playing Vika.
Yeah.
How's Maddie versus Vika? Someone in the chat, let me know how that's going. Someone who's got multi-Twitch up.
Are
let
they
me know.
playing on? They put on camera over there?
Yeah, they're playing on camera.
Looks like they're on loop stream, if I'm guessing
Hey,
correctly.
thanks, Northsider Geo. That's what my goal today was to just be Romo. Be the Romo.
Let me tell you something. When I watched, you worked at least 1 or 2 rounds of Richmond, the sector qualifier in Loopy Stream a few weeks ago, and I absolutely adored the commentary, this kind of commentary, and I was like, I would love to have that, and that's why afterwards I was like, hey, by the way, if you get bored in Minneapolis, reach
That's why
out.
you
Let's do it.
hypnotized me to play Vader.
No, I did no such
run
thing.
Into tough matchups. All
I did
day.
no such thing. I was
No.
telling chat yesterday that when I ran into you at the hang on Friday night, I was kind of like, I told you to your face, I was like, man, I'm kind of hoping you scrub out.
Yeah, I love the honesty. I love telling this story, and all my Destiny fans, Destiny players, not fans, but like Destiny homies from the old days.
Oh, yeah.
Know that like when my erstwhile teammate Reflex won the North American Championship, I got eliminated in top 8, and Zach from Team Covenant,
Yes,
he comes over, he
Zach
puts
Bunn.
his hand on my shoulder, Zach Bunn. He goes, "Hey, sorry about the loss, but I need you to come on stream right now." I didn't even put my deck away. He's like, "The community needs you."
The community needs you.
You know, like
that's a very Zach move.
yeah. The toughest matchups yesterday, well, I'll tell you the toughest matchup in Limited Power was Kylo Droid Manufacturer.
I was telling somebody about that at breakfast. He was
I was like
you played
24
what?
HP, okay. But he played a Dooku on 3, all 3 games. We can talk about that later. Let's see what Frank's got.
Indeed.
He's got a hauler there. He's got 2 Eager Fighter Escorts.
Those are going to be big. He's
yeah,
definitely
they're
keeping
just
both of those.
Falcon Assassinators.
They're just Falcon Assassinators, and he's going to keep them both.
Yeah, there won't be any Sunday KTOD podcast. This is the podcast. I'm just going to cut the audio and release it as the
Join
podcast.
the Bot the Network public Discord.
Don't join on
Frank,
my-
Frank pushing
He's not wrong.
his
But I'm in
Discord.
that Discord. It's
Love
all
it.
up to y'all.
Just
No, we're-
lost game
like,
1
we
against
can talk
Tarkin.
about
Okay,
for
thanks,
games.
Jake.
Like,
Totally.
we all play random.
I was hearing about this Tarkin yellow deck, but I have not seen it, or obviously I've not gone to look at the list.
Well,
but I keep thinking, how is that still viable?
Well, it's Lurking TIE Phantom being really well placed right now.
Yeah.
And one of the things that like Vader does really well is like even if you clear the board, it can rebuild really quickly.
Right.
When Tarkin has a Lurking TIE Phantom,
My wife has a
That's
it gets
that's
completely
terrifying.
out of hand. Like you don't even necessarily want to play the Lurking TIE Phantom until like the 3rd or 4th turn of the game.
Right.
You clear the lane for space,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you put a token on it, you flip Tarkin, put another token on it, and
Yeah.
you're attacking for 6. The problem right now is the Lurking TIE Phantom is only good
make a
into
token with Vader.
half the meta, and the other half is really well placed against Lurking TIE Phantom
Right.
because of things like Fast Falcon, because of things like Blue Leader. All right, so we're actually going to see Jay's hand here. We get a Chewbacca, Akira, and a Confiscate.
Chewbacca is nasty. How much health?
I'm
does
not
Chewbacca
sure what Frank will take here. The Confiscate is so low power, but Chewbacca...
He's going for Chewie.
Yeah, he goes for Chewie here. Did Jay... There he is. Drawing a card.
We're playing
Wait,
on the wrong side.
did Jay draw the card for Busy?
have? Okay, sorry.
Just-
I missed it.
I started.
I was busy looking at the stream deck.
Your fault. You write down what I just saw that you started. You had Confiscate,
1 second.
You had. I got rid of Chewbacca. You had Akira.
Kira. Yeah.
Can you mute me?
I can mute us both for
Okay.
a moment. It's this button here.
Exactly.
Oh, I got a resource. Go this way.
Bobby stepped away for a minute, so I'll just call solo for a spell while he takes care of something.
Right.
When people bazine me or I bazine
Dude,
someone, it's
should
always
be quick.
top deck the card that they.
That's
got on you.
exactly what happened to me yesterday. Is I resourced, he discarded my Ready Falcon, I drew a Ready Falcon. I was like,
Bobby's going over to make sure
Yeah.
he drew the card
like,
for
what do you do
Bazine.
against that?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit your base for 3.
Coming in for a 3-hit.
And hit your base for 1.
I keep wanting to reach for my own tokens. I should just put them away. Out of sight, out of mind, right?
Okay, we're good to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Me 1, you 3. No, backwards.
All right,
Backwards
so
again.
Jay, I actually just asked to see Jay's hand straight up. He has a hauler and a resupply with the Kira and the confiscate.
Can you afford to the early resupply in this matchup because Vader builds the board so fast? Can you afford to take the time to play that?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
It's like the resupply is the best play that this deck can make.
Looks like it's what he just did.
Yeah.
5, 27.
Like I said earlier, what Han really wants to do is just kind of control space and then pivot ground and play its bombs on the ground. Obviously, Hauler a little bit of a problem here against a Phoenix Squadron A-Wing. You know, Jay isn't going to be able to easily control that damage. The swoop down is set up. If Frank has that swoop down, he can kill the Han. And not die back. But the Vader engine isn't on, so we'll just have to see if Frank's deck is able to play the long game against a deck with really, really potent 7-drops.
We are going to resource with Han.
But yeah, this is why the early resupply works. Because when you can
Yeah.
flip Han
Han's
at
gonna
6
come out so
resources
early.
and get to 7 resources when your opponent is
It's
at
on 4. That's
it's
massive.
just backbreaking.
Yeah, that's massive.
All right, so the swoop down isn't coming. We do see a no good to me dead here, though.
It is. Yep.
Okay.
Now, does Jay have something to do with the 6 resources? I think if he doesn't have a big Falcon here, he should have fired off the Kira. He would have been able to stop that no good to me dead. He would have gotten to 7.
I'll pay 3 for a Falcon.
All right, is Jay going to take the trade here to just have 2 haulers? I will say 1 hauler
Card in hand.
floating between the 2 players can be a little bit of a liability, but when you have 2 haulers out,
That's brutal.
it becomes really hard for your opponent to not waste their entire space lane trying to kill the hauler.
Frank looks like maybe he's got a pilot. No.
He has a Mining Guild tie
Oh,
and a
he's-
Geonosis
and a
patrol
Geonosian.
fighter, and I imagine he kept one of those Eager Escort fighters. But
He can
we'll see.
exploit out the Geonosian. Is that the plan here to pull the hauler off the board? Nope. We're going to pull Sabine and the token.
It's a bounce, I think.
Yeah.
He's about
Yeah,
to
it just
kinda
bounces
steal
it. Doesn't steal it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, and the Mining Guild tie comes out. This Mining Guild tie is a nice little way to go into these grindy matchups. You
Such a great
rarely
card.
spend all of your resources
Yeah.
in this deck, so you can very easily draw that 2 extra.
I was talking with Chad about this yesterday, how much I really enjoyed playing this card back in set 1 when it was, for me, it was a staple in one of my old Boba decks, right? So I could refill my hand
Yeah.
along the way as Boba would stand her up resources. I could attack in and draw
Exactly.
some cards.
Yeah, nice little engine there in a
6 resources.
game that, like, yeah, it's great because we draw 2 cards a turn, but the added card draw in this game is just crazy. We've seen it in Pershing, we've seen it in R2D2 3PO combo.
Mm-hmm.
So if you
drawing
resource,
cards
you
is
should
broken.
have
Well, it's interesting, right? Because there are certain cards like 3PO and R2 that have made splashes that are really good, and then leaders like Cassian, which provide card draw that like nobody really plays.
The Cassian engine is a little slow to set up, unfortunately. I know Danny, the lead designer of the game, he really likes Cassian.
Cassian Yellow.
Yeah, Cassian Yellow. And I've played against him, and like I do see where it's good, but man, like I don't see how it would ever beat like a Sabine or a Kylo or anything that like really rushes you down. All right, so there's a hauler battle going on right now.
Play this hall.
Oh, and Jay has the tech, the anti-hauler tech. So for all of the work that we talked about in the Vader deck, being able to get its haulers back once their opponent steals them,
Sorry, chat.
salvage is just
Sorry, chat.
absolutely busted as being able to just, when your opponent thinks they're about to get a 4-5, you just got your own 4-5 back.
Everything. Salvaging your hauler. It's hot.
So,
I'll play yours.
Frank not happy
I mean,
to
Frank,
see that salvage.
he could also be doing the same thing in his deck, but there's also not a lot of stuff worth salvaging out of Frank's in Frank's deck.
Right, because it's all weenies. But when
Yep.
you get to salvage is absolutely insane in these grindy matchups when you can salvage your own home 1 back, but then also salvage for a fast Falcon to finish last 3 damage is really great. So Jay way ahead out of that hauler battle because he got both. We talked about this, like when there's 2 out there and you can end up with both, it becomes really, really a problem.
9.
Now Frank does take out
Self-play
that
hauler.
excuse me, hauler.
Here,
Yours is this one.
Let's just do this so that
That's
the one with
fine
my
with me.
sleeve is on my side, the one with your sleeves on your side. I don't think it
There we go. So all the back and forth trading, and everybody ends almost exactly where they started with a hauler on their side of the board.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It becomes a little
just
silly.
like spinning your wheels. Yeah.
All right,
So
hot
what-
on the board. This is the Vader flip turn.
Yeah, so what's going to happen here? I got to imagine that Jay is going to take out the Victor leader with the hauler. Jay should still be holding that confiscate.
2 cards
So
in hand.
I do.
Did you resource?
I did.
Frank's counting cards. Jay's at 7.
Yeah, he's at 7. Okay, I was
Yep.
double checking.
Yeah,
He
said
didn't
there's no way Han doesn't go to 7.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
the future.
Your future includes
I
confiscate,
resourced
Frank.
it.
This is this is a great situation for Jay to be in. Frank knows he has confiscate, so he can't go to space. If he goes to ground, he's open to Han or a U-wing into Han.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if I were Jay, I'd be leading with hauler into Victor leader, because otherwise
Did I flip that turn?
Frank's
And you
hauler
know
will
good
kill the
that
hauler.
Timmy deaded?
You flipped 2 turns ago,
Okay.
and I know good. So your
Yeah, so I
Han is
have to
back.
pay.
But the haulers on either side are going to make this really complicated damage-wise.
This turn has the potential to be quite a bit of a mess for us to track as we sit here and watch.
Yeah, I actually think that Jay probably should have bounced the Falcon. I think he forgot to pay.
No, he
And-
just did.
No, but like originally he
Oh.
left it down there because he knew he was at 7.
We have
Right.
to do it this way because there are effects I have that bounce haulers,
Okay.
and we need to know who owned the hauler.
That is true.
I apologize.
Okay.
So they're
Okay.
going back to, yeah.
They're going back to the other way around. Okay.
So now
I just
Han
remembered that.
actually isn't
I
at
could
7
possibly
resources
hot deck
because he had to pay for that Falcon. But if he bounced the Falcon here, 1, it wouldn't die to the hauler. So like, I really think he's thinking he should have bounced the hauler.
Something else for you to think about. Dun, dun, dun.
You mean just
I mean, I
bounce
bounced the Falcon.
bounce the
Yeah,
Falcon.
sorry,
Just
bounce the
let it
Falcon.
come back to his hand.
Yeah, because he really needs that 7th resource. He can't do everything in the amount of actions
Well,
he needs to.
let me ask the question a different way. Presuming that he's held on to the confiscate, what's the other 7 drop that he would be like holding on to at this stage of the game?
Han to kill Vader on the ground.
Okay, big boy Han. Yeah, I'm
But
ambushing
now,
Han.
because Jay has to spend that resource, now Frank can flip that Vader to the ground with
How
impunity.
long does he have to think about
I mean, he could have a blaster in the row too. That would also clear him out.
It would.
I was about to poke him. So
All right. Gonna pay 2 and Han on the Falcon.
Han pilot first strike.
The hauler.
Going to wipe out his own hauler there.
That doesn't kill the hauler
Because
because of Victor leader.
Oh, that is actually correct. Let me let the judges know. Hold on a moment.
Wow, that's crazy good.
Right? It's only 5 attack.
hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
How big was that? 5? Oh yeah, this is a 4, 5, 6.
Ah,
Oh,
take your
man.
Thank
4
you.
back, baby.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Thank you,
That was
Judge.
brutal.
Oh, thanks you, Raptor.
Thanks, Bobby. Thanks, Uncle Bobby. All right.
Frank owes you a drink.
Yeah. Well, so that, I think, obviously, that's a mistake out of Jay. I think he's a little shook from having that
Okay.
7th resource
well, that
down.
absolutely changes my play line then.
This is going to be hard to recover from for Jay. I don't know that he can't, but that hauler's actually ready.
Ready.
Um,
Wow, that really
I
changes
expect. Yeah, Frank's saying it
my-
really
changes
changed my play line when.
Because now
yeah.
I can trade these haulers.
Yep.
Okay.
Frank's just doing the commentating for us. That's what I love about Frank. When I've played against Frank, and he just talks the whole time. And he's
Yes.
like, I don't think you should do that, Mike. I'm like, I don't think I should listen to you.
Oh, here, hang on.
Okay. It's on me.
Can you keep your hand above the table?
Yes.
Thanks.
Sorry.
So how do you play that one confiscate?
All right,
Bobby's just the talent. I'm just going to produce today and let him talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So we did trade haulers there.
Yep.
Okay.
It's a top card.
Okay, Han's going to come into base.
So now with 4 resources, maybe we'll see that Kira if it's still around.
I will
Maybe he's going to smuggle out a tech.
bring my hauler back.
You can't bring your hauler back.
You have
You
how
gotta
many
bring
cards left in hand?
the other hauler back.
One. How much life is left on that Falcon?
1. Hold on. I have 5 out of 7, so 2.
So
He's going to trade the token in to get rid of the Falcon with the Han.
Yeah,
Clear the
that
space lanes.
miscount on the damage from Victor Leader was a huge blowout. I
Well-
think what ends up, like, if Jay can't claw back, that's going to be one.
You mentioned it earlier. Victor Leader just changes the math, and it becomes very squirrely to keep all of it straight in your head. Even Frank's playing the deck, and even he forgot.
Yep, no doubt.
I've gotten to where when I have effects like that on the board, I try to use tokens to remind myself, even if it's repetitive, right?
Can you tell the judges he can't play his own hauler from his own graveyard? He has to play the opposing hauler from the opposing graveyard or discard pile.
If you kill it, it still saves me damage. I'll bring mine back.
smart. I will.
What is
ambush.
All right.
I think in the end, I don't think it's going to matter.
I don't think it matters
a whole
because
lot.
Frank said, like, I can't, like, I can bounce effects. Like, he
Yeah.
bounces the hauler, it goes back to his own hand. Like,
Yeah.
Jay could also waylay a hauler. So it is important to keep the game state straight.
All right.
Okay, this is starting to get bizarro now.
I'll pass.
Can he have both of them? I didn't think he could play his own.
Yeah, as long as it comes from the opponent's play, he can.
Okay.
But they really need to stop. I don't know.
13 to 4.
I really think the game state might be broken.
Well, I've notified the judge chat. There's not much else I can do until they. Okay, there you go. He's checking it out now. They're trying to fix it.
It's hard to talk about a game that's this
turn.
broken.
Both
No.
haulers died this turn.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm gonna let them figure it out. Do you want to wander over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Made the mistake of hitting it, left it 1 life, so I hit. And then he
While they settle this out, guys, I have been asked frequently by the folks at SEG when we do these events, we're gonna pull back and mute the table and let them talk for a minute. In fact, why don't we just come all the way back to here? I've been specifically asked by SEG that while judge calls are happening, to let that happen on the table and not worry about not film everything. They're keenly aware that sometimes these things get out of hand. So that's why we're back here for a minute. So we'll let them solve this. It is a bit of a mess in the sense of the way that card works. It's awkward, to put it lightly. And this is my first time ever seeing 2 of them on the board at the same time. Watching them bounce around is weird, to put it lightly. It's a good thing they both have different colored sleeves. If they didn't, this would be kind of a bit of a mess. Okay. All right, so let's get back to this.
Apparently
I
they
suppose.
got it straightened out.
Okay, good. We'll assume they have it correct.
Got it.
We'll unmute the players again,
13
and then we'll turn the lights
to 4.
off. Okay,
I made a dude.
They're good.
seems like it.
You took initiative.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to.
Now Frank still has unspent resources here, and Jeremiah is done for the turn.
No, they're right. They had it right. I
Okay.
had it wrong.
Oh, you had it wrong.
Yeah. Apparently you can play it from your own discard if your opponent owned it first.
Boy, that
And I
gets
guess that's what
weird.
happened.
That gets weird.
The ground. You have one escape. Next turn.
Yeah, it's all good. I think I was just kind of thrown off from the damage happening, but I'm going to stop meddling. Because when I play on stream and people meddle, I don't like it. So I'm going to learn my lesson.
I did miss a tech coming onto the board here for Han.
Yeah, so he did that with those 4 resources at the end of the turn.
Okay.
I saw Frank had a Geonosis Patrol Fighter, so I expect him to bounce it.
Sacking the exploit 1 to do it, and bouncing tech.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, he's going to bounce tech for Geonosis.
And I will pass.
All right.
Well, all right, I'm not going to get baited by the chat.
Now, this is important. That's a very, very, very good lesson that I have had to struggle with myself these last few days.
Now you're just playing mental games with me.
I had some moments in Denver where I thought I was going to have to mute my own chat. I was just like, really? What are you guys on?
Just say, the judges weren't on top of the damage from the Victor
No, I
Leader,
got
so
it.
that's kind of where my head was at.
Yep.
Someone give me a Maddie
I
update.
did. I did, and I discarded one from Han.
Okay.
It was a resupply.
All right. So can Jay battle back from this board? Multiple haulers. The one thing Jay has going for him here is he only has 4 damage on his base.
Yeah, there has not been a tremendous amount of damage get pushed through to his base. There's just been all of this space trading. We are going to push 7 to base here, I'm presuming.
Yeah, one thing that Jay's really missing here are just 7 drop bombs. Like, he just hasn't hit a U-Wing. He hasn't hit a Han. He hasn't hit an Emphas.
He does have 1 card in hand. Could be relevant.
Yeah, so he's facing down, 16
Yeah.
power in
What were you
space
So
and 5 on the ground.
13. I did 6, so 19.
19, yep.
Yep.
He did 6. Why would he have done 6? Isn't
On my notepad.
isn't surprise strike +3?
All right. Let's trade these.
Yeah.
So why isn't it 7?
See what
I'm not
shenanigans
sure.
you've got. Show me your
I
tricks.
don't have any shenanigans.
Show me your tricks.
Are you sure he only took 6?
Frank only took 6 on his base, and Jeremiah literally said, "I dealt 6."
Oh,
I'm not sure why he thinks he only dealt 6.
Well, I'm not getting involved. The judge.
No, I'm going to at this point. If both players are happy, I'm staying out of it.
Perfect. I'm gonna Falcon into the Victor.
Yeah, definitely Lee Trevino vibes. It's all games. And in Atlanta, Frank literally said, "I don't think you should make that attack. I think you should attack base."
Is Frank literally sitting across from you trying to tell you how to play your own deck?
Yeah. He's great though. He's fun.
He's such a great guy.
It's so fun. Yeah. I'll say this: like Frank always makes everything fun and friendly.
100%.
Even back then, when he's like, "Love you, Mike," when I walked out, I was like, "All right, guys, whatever. I'm wrong."
All right, 8 to base from the haulers.
Or from 4 to 12.
I'm at 19.
That was a couple off there, apparently.
All right, Frank
Back to-
rebuilding his board here.
Back-to-back ties.
Yep. I don't know. Like, I think like if I'm Jay, I'm looking for Enfys to bounce my own hauler back to my hand. Yeah, Hybrid Theory, it is tough to ignore those sometimes, especially when you're friends with a guy. You know, you want to talk to him, you want to engage with him, but I think it's a strategy. Yeah, Gimura, I also think Jay is thrown off and still thrown off. I think that just changed the tenor of the game.
You know, it was interesting. We had Alex blended on camera yesterday against Michael Conroe from Team Secret. About midday, round 4 or something, maybe around 5. And Alex had a couple of moments where, with the face cams, you can clearly see when people's faces tell part of the story, which is fun. But there were a couple times, I talked to him briefly after the match, and he was like, "Oh yeah, there were a couple times I was intentionally I would draw the cards, and I would look, exasperated, but I had just drawn fire."
Yeah, he's really good at that.
And I was like, "Oh, look at you playing mind games."
About things. Oh, Jay's showing us the 10. What a guy.
Oh,
right,
he
so this is the 10 for the U-Wing.
Okay,
Yep.
we have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Take me 24. You're at 19.
I got some updates from the other match where we look at this. Ophir beat Chrono 2-0. Alex beat Rebel Resource 2-1 for my teammates.
Okay.
Looks like Todd is still playing. All right, so what's he going to go with here? I think he was looking for Enfys.
All right,
It's the only thing that really comes down and affects the board.
We're going to do Blue Leader. We have to resolve each card as we play them.
Judge.
That's actually a good question. I'm pretty confident that the answer to this is yes, but we'll let the judge tell them this. I've had this question before about the way when you play things with U-wing, when you play the card, do you resolve the win played? Does that win played interrupt the win? Resolving the U-wing, and I'm pretty confident that it does.
Yeah.
So either
But-
show and declare what he's
But I'll let the judge walk that through with them.
Declare, shuffle the rest of them, put them on the bottom, and
and then
you
play them out one by one.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Aha. Okay, so he's got to pick the 3 he's going to play, and then as he plays them, then the win played effects fire off.
Yeah, this is a
really
pretty
good.
mopey.
So he's just going to come in with Falcon and Blue Leader.
So
Yeah, I'm-
resolve the. Would you like to cut?
I do
He has 2
wanna cut.
resources left, so I
Michael
think what he-
Carlock, one of our teammates, tells me to always cut
Once-
these lucky Vaders and U-wings and.
he's probably going to take
I
out one of
agree.
the 2 ones and then
Always
move the
cut.
blue leader to the
So
ground,
this guy is gonna ambush one of the TIE fighters.
It kills it.
because that's the only way to get any value
Yep.
out of this. But
Yeah,
he's
he-
still in a rough
Yep,
spot.
for sure. And this is a great play. That way he can hopefully push. I mean, Frank's low. Frank's down to 11 health, so he can hopefully push some damage there.
He is, but Jay is going to take 10 here at the very least. I mean, Frank hasn't spent a single resource yet.
Right.
So he's going to take 10 at the very least,
You
and
sure?
then
You were
Because-
9. I thought you were 8.
I resourced.
Chat's asking where you can find the day 1 stream. I will tell you after this game. You won't like the answer, possibly, but I will tell you.
Sir. That was really well played, Jay.
Oh, thank you.
Listen to Frank complimenting his opponent. That was a great play. How am I ever going to recover?
how am I going to ever recover from having all these haulers on the board?
Now, looking at the clock, time may be an issue here. These guys will get at least probably a 3 to 5 minute extension just because
My hauler.
Okay.
of the way the stream tables generally get a small time extension. But even if they can finish game 2, game 3 is going to be tough.
Yeah. I mean, definitely
Okay.
seems like a lot of time being spent not turning guys sideways.
I mean, to bluff. I'll take the initiative.
Okay.
I think
make a
it's
do.
possible that even after that
I'll attack
Han
for 4, 5, 6.
debacle with
2,
Jay, I think he possibly should have scooped.
5, 6.
Scooping for time in these situations is really
Yep,
important.
18,
Yep.
19. I'll
I
play
mean,
a dude.
he's already up a game.
I'll play a dude.
He probably could have afforded it.
Makes sense.
And I will.
In fact, even
for a dude.
Okay.
it's. Let's just move on.
I
to
think
game
at
3,
this
Jay.
point he should probably scoop.
I don't think I have any outs here.
I hope not. That's what we're trying to achieve with this board state.
His board's empty. He's got plenty of resources, but he's
All I
top
could
decking
do,
here
so I
Okay.
pass, as if that wasn't enough.
against the Space Armada, quite literally.
Not resource. I put my hand down so I can look at my resources though, because I could smuggle out my big ships.
Even this is like wasting 2 minutes. You know.
18, you have
Yeah.
4, 8.
Fatal's on the board.
Yeah.
I think this is a good lesson.
Yeah, that's it. We can go to the next.
There were some people in chat yesterday. Yeah, okay. They're going to scoop it up and go. All right.
Game.
Really crazy.
Battle of the Haulers. Can I shuffle?
Talking to, watching yesterday, we had Rebel Resource, Ryan on. And chat was, some people in chat were flabbergasted at how quickly he plays. They went through, I think, 3 Sabine Yellow games.
Yeah.
And I think the entire match took maybe 21 minutes.
Yeah, if
He
you-
plays like his chair's on fire.
Yeah, I've played against him, and if you are gonna stream his table, like you definitely want to back.
Have a backup. Yeah, I learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
But it was funny, and
Misplay. You were just
chat, people in chat were like, "What's the deal? Why is this a thing?" And I think a game like this is a good example, right? In the sense of a match like this is a good example. In the sense of like you want to come and you want to have a great time, but you want to finish the match. Finish the match. I'm not criticizing. I'm just saying that I feel like you're running a risk, right?
get your 2 drop, but I got greedy, didn't I? I was greedy.
I don't think it's greedy. I think
It is
if,
greedy,
if,
but it's
if
very
you-
normal. It's super rare you're not going to play a 3
Right.
drop on turn 1.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's way worse for me if you play a Falcon than if you play a Phoenix Saber.
I agree.
I was
All right, we'll let these guys shuffle up and see what we can get in for game 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully
So
they
it
start
worked out, obviously, but
start moving.
that was a fun
Stop.
game, dude. That was
chat.
crazy.
Scooping to go to game 3 is a skill for sure. And then another thing that we taled about with some players yesterday that are playing Ray Data Vault is actually like conceding
And I got a game 3. How much time do we
instead
have
of drawing.
Oh, we're going to get a draw. Oh, okay. We have that. Let's play fast, though.
Yeah.
Now Frank wants to play fast.
Now, with Ray Data Vault, scooping instead of drawing, so you don't face other decks that draw when you're playing.
Yeah.
Do you know, that was something that I hadn't considered yesterday, but one of my local players came and was playing Kira Data Vault. He's been playing Kira for a very long time. Traditionally, he plays Kira ECL, but he switched to Data Vault because he figured he would need the extra legs because that's where things are going. And we were talking about this. He ended up drawing, I think he said fairly early, round 3 or round 4. And because of the way the point value system works, now he found himself more commonly getting paired against other opponents who were drawing rounds.
And this is something I learned playing Magic way back in the day. It's like control matchup, control mirror. If you're going to draw, just one of you has to concede, or else you're going to be in the draw bracket.
You're going to be in the draw bracket. When it's the first time you use that term, but it's the first time it even occurred to me was yesterday that such a thing was real now because we have the ID rules. You get a point for a draw, but now in large events, a big field, you're just now more likely to get paired against other people who also have draws. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you claimed.
Okay. No.
Oh, you said ready and then.
No. I was like, ready. I'm going to take the initiative.
Should I be a dick and call the judge?
No, Frank. Just play.
Okay. So I'm not going to enforce this, but just for the record, he said, "Are you ready?"
Frank, what are you doing? He lost the game, so he's on the button. So he's ready to go. He's letting you know he's ready. You're good to go.
Did you like make a motion or anything? Or did you just say,
He just tapped his I take initiative.
I'm going to start with the initiative.
No, you didn't say start with. He said, I take initiative.
I'm going to mute them and let them talk to the judge for a minute.
I don't want to hear this. You know what? I think I regret doing this.
Would you rather just hear them? Would you rather we just mute them all day? That way you don't have to?
No comment.
Goodness gracious.
All right, looks like Frank is not gonna.
Let's just leave them off for a spell, and Frank's gonna come in with double Ys in the high orbitals here. Republic Y-wings, a little 1-3 out of the latest set. Han's gonna go straight for the hauler. The hauler shenanigans beginning early here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, and I saw a surprise strike in Frank's hand, and so if Jay eats one of these Y-wings, the surprise strike would take it back. So it looks like that is going to be Frank's plan. So this is the thing I was talking about, where hauler becomes a huge liability.
Ooh, double hauler.
Unless your opponent works really, really hard to kill it. And so I think Frank's plan was to use 3 cards, trade 3 cards into that hauler. Surprise strike, doing the final 4 to get the hauler. But now, with Jay playing a second hauler, he's just going to risk the hauler fight. And having used 3 cards to kill 1 hauler, you're going to make it that much harder to kill the next one.
He is going to use he's going to use one of the little eager escort guys to knock out one of them. And then play it.
Oh yeah, so then it's only 2 cards to get your hauler. So it's really kind of a 1-for-1.
Yeah, he's still sitting on the surprise strike. He hasn't played that one yet.
Yep, and he's got a barrage in hand, which is exactly what you want out of your hauler. I like where Frank's at right now. And Jay opting to just go face and try and race Frank. Is Frank going to go after the second hauler and try and take both? I think, given his hand, that's what I would do.
Okay, now they have the base health correct.
But honestly, that barrage is going to ride him a long way.
He's going to do 1 in here with the token. Han going to do Han things.
Yep, so Han's going to 5. I don't know what he really wants to do here. If Jay is sandbagging a resupply, I think that's like the best reason to go to 5.
Because then he could resupply.
Flip Han.
Ooh, that early and then go straight to 7. Well, he could go straight to 7. It wouldn't do him much good because he probably can't use them all this round.
Well, he would end up with 4 more resources. Or 3 more resources.
He'd end up with
4 more resources. We'd be able to play like a Poe, a Kira, a Tech Smuggle, a L3 Smuggle.
Yep, no, that's a good point. Frank going 1 to base.
All right, so he's just hard playing Chewbacca here. So what Jay's strategy might be here is playing around Barrage by having so much HP that Barrage doesn't clear the board.
Yeah.
But now Frank ends up with both haulers. And those are both Jay's haulers. So again, like, this is why I find playing hauler so precarious. I will say that, in talking to Frank, the BN guys were playing hauler with the intention of stealing their haulers back after their opponents spend resources and cards
To play them.
get them.
To play them.
So Frank is
in the sense of they play it and then you bounce it.
yeah.
You like Geonosis. Well, you can't.
Right.
Yeah, you can Geonosis
You
it or
can
waylay
Geonosis
it or whatever.
or recapture it, waylay,
Interesting.
whatever it is. But Frank is showing that he's very well versed in the hauler battle here.
Yeah.
Ending up with both of Jay's haulers. And Chewbacca ground is not where Jay wants to be. But he's already at 13 HP, so maybe he's just going to push here. Unfortunately for Jay, a barrage on a hauler is going to take out Han. This is really the matchup where you want to hold Big Falcon so you can ambush in and steal.
Frank
it.
certainly has a million good options here for that barrage in his hand, should he decide he needs it at whatever point. Twitch chat thinking that Jay should have avoided the haulers entirely.
All right, there's the Big Falcon.
Going to ambush in and knock one of them out. So remember, guys, the official timer at the bottom right is going to expire shortly, but that is not the timer the players on our table are working off of. There is a judge standing there working on maintaining all of that state, so don't sweat it. They'll be managed. So he's going to play Overwhelming Barrage on the clone. Let's figure this out. It's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so he's got 9 damage to shell out here.
Yep. So eats the Han, doesn't get the flip. That's actually not terrible for Jay because Jay wants his Han to die and not get tapped because now Jay can still go to 7 resources next turn and play a 7 drop. I don't know that it's going to be enough to get him back in this game.
So we're at 17 on for Jay. Yep, I thought that's
no,
right.
Jake. Apparently that's the thing that I got confused about earlier was that it still goes to Jay's discard pile, but Frank still can play it. Like you can still play the opposing hauler no matter what discard pile it's in if your opponent controlled it. But yeah, cards always go to their owner's discard. You should never have your opponent's card in your discard.
I want to make sure I understand this. So Jay plays a hauler. Frank murders it. It ends up in Jay's discard pile. Frank is then allowed to play it out of his discard pile. But then when it dies off of Frank's side of the board,
it goes to
Jay's discard pile. Frank could play it again even from there.
No, Jay can play it out of his own, which is why I got confused.
Oh, that is a mess. Yeah. That's
why it got so messy.
That's a whacked out card.
Because if he played the hauler, all that would have happened there.
I think Jay just conceded.
Jay conceded. Is that Jay is simply that Frank would have ended back up with it because Frank has total control space.
Yep. Goodness. All right, so I suppose, if anything, ladies and gentlemen, the lesson that I've learned watching this match is that hauler is one of the most irritating cards to keep track of in the entire game.
Yeah. And, I'm just going to refuse to do it from here on out, people.
Okay. All right. There we go.